Hello, my dear friends. Good evening. And once again, I would like to take this few minutes with you as part of sharing and reflection, and also as a form of debriefing. It's been quite some time that I did not have this kind of recording and sharing. But for this time being, I would like to start again my sharing and debriefing after a challenging day, after a day of work. I think it is refreshing that before I close the office and I close this computer, I'll be able to share with you some of my thoughts that have been in my mind, that has impressed me and also inspired me. And I would like to focus my discussion on, especially on the gospel reading last Sunday. And it was Sunday. It was the reading was about the story of the poor man Lazarus and the rich man. It is I think it is one of the parables that has been the subject of our gospel readings for the past 3 Sundays. And I was impressed by the homily given by the parish priest of our parish, that's in Tabaco City, in the Our Lady of Lourdes Filipino Chinese personal parish. So that's where I went last Sunday for my Sunday obligation. And the priest, the parish priest, had this a very good reflection on the story of Lazarus and the poor man Lazarus and the rich man. And he even brought up the idea, why is it that in the parable of Christ, Lazarus, the poor man, was named, and yet the rich man did not have any name at all? It was simply just he was just simply described as the rich man. And maybe you are familiar with this parable, especially because Jesus told this that once upon a time there was a rich man, and he used to live a luxurious life. He used to have good dinners, and he has this poor man Lazarus standing at the gate of his house, and sometimes eating the scraps that were thrown away from the table, from the dinner table, together with the dogs. And this poor man Lazarus is filled with scabies, filled with wounds, and the dogs would even lick his wounds. And the time for them has come to die, and Lazarus and the rich man died, and Lazarus found himself in heaven at the bosom of Abraham, enjoying a refreshment, while the rich man found himself in the netherworld, suffering the torments of fire. And when the rich man saw Abraham from afar, he begged he begged Father Abraham to send Lazarus to him, that Lazarus would dip his finger in the water and put it in his tongue to give him that water, because according to him it was so hot, and he was tormented by the heat. And he was begging Abraham to grant him some form of relief. But Abraham told him that there is a wedge between them, that neither those that are in the netherworld can cross into heaven, where Abraham, or they cannot have the way to cross to paradise where Abraham and Lazarus were. So the rich man prayed to Abraham and said, Abraham, please send Lazarus back to earth to warn my brothers, so that they will change their lives, they will reform their lives, so that they will not fall into this kind of situation. But Abraham said, they have Moses and the prophets, let them listen to them. And even if a dead man would rise and back from the dead, they will not believe, because if they cannot believe Abraham and the prophets, then how can more they can believe, even if a man rose from the dead? And what is the moral lesson here? According to our parish priest, one of the highlights of this parable is that the sin of omission, meaning things that we should do and we have not done, and also the sin of indifference, meaning to say we don't care about other people. So you see, if you ask the rich man, what wrong did the rich man did, maybe the rich man will say, I have done nothing wrong. I have not harmed Lazarus. I even tolerated his presence in my gate, and sometimes he would even eat the scraps that falls from my table. But here we go. What is the sin of the rich man? The rich man was indifferent. He didn't care about people. He didn't care about the sufferings of other people, and he did not do anything to reach out to help these people. I think, according to our parish priest, this was the sin of the rich man. And perhaps this opens up a good moral lesson for all of us to reflect on our actions. How indifferent am I to the sufferings of other people? Don't you realize how you did we say any kind words to people who are suffering? Did we cross the line in order to do something for the suffering people, suffering souls? Are we kind to other people, or do we make fun of them, or do we bully them, or do we speak unkind words to them? I think these are the kinds of omission. Sometimes we always excuse ourselves and say, I'm doing nothing, so therefore I have done nothing wrong. But if you do not lift a finger to help the poor, and if you do not lift a finger to fight injustice, and if you do not lift a finger to change a wrong situation, and if you fail to be compassionate to those who are sick and are suffering, I think this is also a kind of sin that perhaps this could this could we could find ourselves in hell, or maybe in the netherworld, tormented by the fire, or punished because of this. And we should always pray that we should always be able to do the things that needs to be done. And I think this is the lesson that we learn from this parable. There is no need for miracles in order to believe, because the word of God is alive, and the more we listen to it, the more it becomes true to us. No need for extraordinary miracles, no need for crying statues, no need for anything of like that, of any no nothing nothing of a superstition of like that, but rather it is more in our faith, in our heart, and how we act on our faith. I think these are the things that matters most. Okay, so thank you, my friends, for allowing me to share with you some of my reflections and my thoughts. And I would like also to give credits to our parish priest for bringing this idea to us, and it really inspired me and gave me good insights, and it helps me realize how unworthy I am, that I have to trust in the goodness of Jesus Christ to help me, and that I will have to rely on Him rather than rely on my ability, because me doing good will only be real good if it is something that is supported by Christ Himself. So thank you very much for this spiritual sharing. So whatever your religion is, it doesn't matter, but what matters most is our faith and our response to God. And when we have this, then this is the true religion, because love and kindness is the true religion, because these are the things that matters to God. So thank you, my friends, and God bless us.